Hi. Hi everyone. My name is David from New Zealand, but I've been living in Berlin for a while now. I got into NFTs about a year and a half ago, and my co-founders and I, we started a company called Webmint, where we work with brands to help them develop NFTs and onboard non-crypto native customers. Before that, we were project owners ourselves. So between us, we've launched 14 projects. 10 of them sold out almost immediately. One of them became number one on OpenSea, did 11,000 ETH in total trade volume. And I guess that was enough to get an invite to this conference from Dennis.
And I would even invite you if you only have 100 ETH.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, nice to meet you. My name is Nico. I'm in crypto since 2016 and NFTs since 2018. And yeah, I was asking myself which value I can deliver to this talk. And I think, especially probably from the collector's perspective, I can give some feedback for artists because I don't know, I collected several, maybe hundreds of NFT artworks. And the other thing is I personally sold out a project in 2021. I just presented it, I don't know, 2 hours ago, A Power it's called.
Everyone is seeing you and listening to you.
Awesome. My name is Malte. I work for Bread Moments. My professional background is sort of in the traditional art market, and I've been working for Bread Moments for close to a year. I've been involved with crypto, but more privately for a long time. And so yeah, I kind of have that perspective on the traditional art market and on the NFT art market. And for those who don't know, we have a gallery here in Berlin, Auguststraße 86. We do meetups and stuff, so open invitation to everyone.
Absolutely, you should go. And also thanks for the campaign this morning to support Raven, your artist, and that people could show up on your booth to mint in that 2 hours window. And also a lot did. And yeah, was great that you supported also this, that people have that experience to get something and to mint an NFT or get a wallet if they not had. So let's start about how to successfully do an NFT art project. And we can also say, let's compare the traditional art world and also what's ongoing now. What's your take, David, in general about NFTs? And we heard in the morning that's a buzzword. PFPs are not any longer that kind of cool. It's just like technique. So where do you think is it going? Because you did a project which was very successful in trading volume, and now you also founded that company, which is like this framework to offer artists the opportunity without code knowledge to drop NFTs. And I mean, it's very valuable what you have to share.
Yeah, actually, I think that NFTs are changing. So we're no longer in a time where people are willing to throw $3,000, $2,000 at a JPEG without doing any research. In saying that, just last Saturday, we launched 2 projects that were PFP projects, and both of them sold out within 30 minutes. One had about 1,000, and the other had, I think, 3,500 unique images. What was interesting was one of them was AI-generated art that was just sort of altered. But basically, the point is, I think that we're in a time where people are a little bit more diligent about the way that they want to spend money and the communities that they support. So if you have an idea for a generative PFP project without any traction, without any identity, you're going to fail. But what we've seen, especially during this bear market, the projects that have been very successful, and I'm only defining success by the ability to basically sell out. And I know that's only one metric, but the projects that have done very well are the ones that have spent time building a community, interacting, but also looking for worthwhile partnerships and collaborations to show its community who are financially investing into this project that there is value in owning the art. And I think that this market has actually been quite great for projects in the sense that all of the shit projects that have no intention of staying on have kind of panned it out, and only those who are very serious about building a community with unified values have stuck around and are putting more effort into building great projects.
What's your learning as collector?
Very interesting to hear, and impressive work that you sold out 2 projects. Really, you have to talk to me about that later. Really interesting. Yeah, from a collector's perspective, I never compared traditional art or digital art with classic profile pic projects. For me, it's not the same. And for me, I'm not an artist, but from a collector's perspective, I love collecting digital art. I probably don't care if it's only digital or not. And I think artists should at least try to get their first steps into the NFT markets, because I think it's a great opportunity for artists, and they should take it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think the other thing, the guy who was on here just before me was talking about community, and I think that's really, it is a buzzword, but it's also what's really important. I think if you're an artist and you think, I'm going to turn this art into an NFT and it's just going to make me more money, that's most likely not going to happen. But if you understand that you can build a community around your art and that you can bring people together to talk about your art, then you're going to have a lot more success with the artwork that you already have.
Who's artist here in the audience? Can you raise your hands? Nicolas, are you also on this panel? I think so. Come on, join us, because I was just seeing you. Okay, cool. Because I was not. So, and can you raise again? Okay, so not so much artists here. Maybe collectors, more collectors. But no, in general, what David said is also as an artist, and we get to know a lot of creative people. It's not so easy to get your vision into reality. If you have like an idea and you paint something, maybe you don't know how to mint and how to build a community and all that stuff. And that's what David is bringing as a platform solution also. And let's talk about some learnings from artists. How much artists you worked on, and then we can also continue to go to another angle. Yeah.
How many artists have we worked
How
with?
much artists used at the moment and how much built on the platform, and what's the first learning and insights? How long you need as an artist to get online with a collection of, let's say, 1,500 things, or even less?
So right now, actually, as of last night, the number of users we have is 427. That could be different today. So we track number of active users by daily logins through specific wallet addresses. I think there's two sides of it, and the hard side is the art and community side. The easy side is the tech side. So whether you want to create profile pictures or unique pieces of digital art, and then get a social following and a community, that is going to take months and months and months. Some artists take years. But in terms of the technology, creating a smart contract, creating a website, whether you use our software or any other software on the market, that takes nowadays about 20 minutes. And a typical commission model will take anywhere between 2.5 to 6% of your sales.
Which is quite attractive, to be fast online and also like to give away something, but that's fair.
Yeah, compared to the traditional 15 to 30%.
In general, when we talk about this profile pictures or some art, Malte, how you think about profile picture hype in 2021, about decreasing NFT projects and also digital and generative art in general? So what's your takeaway out of this?
Yeah, from my perspective, I can confirm some of the things that have been said. I think it's very obvious that volumes are down, prices are down for sort of pure PFP projects. And I think to many participants, that was sort of like obvious already like last year that will happen eventually. On the other hand, like what I would add to the conversation so far is that, we've seen a sort of stronger, I think, differentiation in the market. So we have like clearer categories for a lot of the art, and those parts of the like NFT market where we've seen differentiation and segmentation. We have like distinct communities that follow specific artists, and those sort of like subsets have shown like relative strength. But Moments is structured in such a way that we have a pretty strong community that meets, in real life at our different locations, and membership to our DAO is, via profile picture collection called Crypto Citizens, which has been doing well, but I think mostly because it's linked to the real life community. And generative art has shown, I think, relative strength just because, the art movement, so to speak, has built a community around it of followers that's not here for the hype, that's pretty closely linked to the art, to the artists, and to fellow collectors. And so yeah, from my perspective, definitely those factors of differentiation and community have been sort of what drove value throughout the last, let's say, 9 months or so.
And if you would be an artist in 2023, let's say you have like the tech stack available through platforms like Webmint, and you have friends and knowledge and a community, what would you do as a first step? So what is important? You said you're also, Nicolas, an artist. So maybe you can give also some takeaways, or do you think the next year is different to the last, and it's always like process? You also talked about the hype after.
No, I think it is the major problem is that Web 2 marketing is applied to Web 3 products, and I've talked about this with 5 founders like last month, and they all said they put in like 50K or 25K to the next best marketing agency they found online. It's like, I could name some, but it's like the scams are repeated marketing-wise. They're exploiting the NFT creators that are building nice art, PFP projects or something with utility, and that would create a community that's here to stay, but they get rugged and they don't know how to build a community. And I think
getting wrecked is never good. Oh, no, absolutely not. This year was all about challenges, about in all these areas equal where you looked in, and the question is, where is it going next year? I was the last 6 days in Miami and doing Art Basel Miami, and I was looking into fine art, generative art, so where the scene is going, and I see also that a lot of segmentations are coming, and how to start a successful NFT project, is more the question in which area, because you can do it as a brand, as a digital twin, or having an NFT. You can have it as a community. You can have it as an incentive, as a musician, and I also recognize that a lot of musicians are dropping like NFTs to, as you said, build a community, to give the opportunity directly to get the music first and without a label, and that you can be in contact. Because imagine we heard about a graffiti artist, and he was spraying, and a lot of people are going there and enjoy what he's doing, but nobody knows him, and he cannot get in contact with people which really enjoying what he's doing. So, and now with this online opportunities, dropping this graffiti as NFTs in addition, and people can purchase it. It's the first time that they can get in contact with some token-gated Discord communication or whatever. I mean, that's amazing. That our tech is empowering. So, but for all these areas, when you look at tech and all this stuff, what are you thinking? Like NFTs is heating the next years, and how to start a successful NFT project? What have you have in mind? So, Malte or David or Nicolas, open to the world.
Maybe I can share some perspective from a collector side, and I would like to add one more thought to it, because when I started collecting digital art, one thing that fascinated me most as a collector was that I was able to connect to these artists from all over the world. And I don't know, I mean, at the time when I started collecting, the space was not very big, but it's really great for a collector if he can directly speak with the artist. And if it's only online, that's totally fine. But it's really interesting to hear what are the thoughts behind the artwork and so on. And regarding how to start an NFT project as an artist from a collector's perspective, to be honest, I don't care from a collector's perspective. If he does this himself, if he does this with an agency or whatever. So I think it really depends on the person. If he wants to do the tech himself or not, then maybe it's better for him to work with an agency or with a platform. But for example, I know a student who is still in school. I think he's from Portugal. I'm connected with him on Twitter, and I know 1.5 years ago he started selling his artworks on Twitter, and one artwork cost like, I don't know, $50. And I think 2 weeks ago he was accepted to Super Rare and he sold his first artwork for 1 ETH. And that are success stories that are possible in this NFT space. They are still possible, and yeah, that makes me really happy to see. Yeah.
I think genuine undead is a good example that it still works, but you can define that it's like a viral thing if they go successful or not, and I think the art should be good.
The art should be good, yeah.
Shot should be good. Yeah.
Something or special like Xcopy or Rafika Nadol when it comes to generative art and that stuff. So something special could be an advice. Make something special. Or
I mean, what's really interesting, so the project that I was talking about that launched last week that sold out, their entire collection, I think it was 1,111 pieces. All of it was AI generated by Elon Musk's AI art tool. I can't remember the name, but it's a totally free tool. So I would say that art is subjective. What you guys might think looks good, I might think looks terrible. So I think it's more about being able to push an idea that the art represents. So it almost doesn't even matter what's on the screen, because the majority of the holders in this specific instance had no idea that this was purely AI generated. So it was effectively 20 minutes of work to create art that looks like it would take a human 12 hours.
Malte, what you are saying, I know you work with art blogs and a lot of artists. When you hear about this and you look into the next year, how will RE change the space and the artist space at all?
So a couple of points. I think sort of to the general perspective of the artists. I mean, we work primarily with on-chain generative art. Which there are different ways of thinking about what generative art is, but the type of art we work with are code-based algorithms that get loaded either completely to the blockchain or the code gets partly stored off-chain, and then the algorithm sort of generates different outputs that are not really known in advance. And that exists as an art form since the 60s, but has been really transformed by the move with art blocks to storing the entire code base on chain. We're sort of interested in AI art as well, but my personal opinion, and we started working with sort of selected AI artists like Iwana Tao, but I think that there will be such an inflation of from these standard tools that there will be a market that will be where it will be hard to find differentiation. So I'm not going to say I'm skeptical, but I think we will just see a huge inflation of works and very few that will do well and will be perceived as having artistic value. On the other hand, I think sort of the artists who train their own models, who work with GAN, or even some of the earlier stuff, I think that will become extremely interesting because the relative interest will stand out, as opposed to the standard sort of image synthesis software. Because one thing that just affects that sort of body of work is that the aesthetic is pretty homogeneous. If you look at a lot of the outputs. So I think there will be standout artists, but by and large, I think the work will look pretty much the same, and it'll be harder to find differentiation than in comparison to, let's say, code-based art.
And maybe it's even then this new category like RE art, and for a while that's the buzzword then, and after buzzwords it's adopted, and after adoption it's like fans and communities. That's always how it started when we compared the talks during the day. But it's fascinating what you say, in 20 minutes, 1,500 pieces, just with words, hey, dear DALL-E, whatever, create me something like this, and then download, drop it, upload to Webmint, and you're online. And I mean, this is if you an entrepreneur and you're not an artist, that's an easy way to go online to make money. But the question in the end will be to how you can make it really as a passionate artist when you invest a lot of time, because these are the same tools, and ethically you have to ask the other questions. Should I really invest a lot of time and maybe disappointed that I cannot build a community and they don't feel it, or just try and error? And will something be in the middle, or and compared to just profile pictures which are created by big agencies. But in general, I think there's place for everything, like for fine artists, for PFP projects, cool memes, IE, art blogs, some specific editions. And I also see a trend at the moment on one and ones. What do you think about it? And I mean, we had Tezos in the morning here, Marco, and they have like on FX Hash and Objective also a lot of one and ones. So anyone collecting here in the audience? Have you collected any one of one?
Yeah, I have collected one-on-ones. I love one-on-ones, but normally one-on-ones are too expensive. Yeah, that's the short answer. So if I could, I would love to collect only one-on-ones, but yeah, it's a question of budget.
I just wanted to ask because when I would be an artist, I would try to go to like additional wise, create a lot of one-of-ones and try to find fans, you know, because in the end it's very valuable. You communicate people, they like you, and it's not that you have to build a Discord server or like one of hundreds, you know, because it's very hard to compete. But any takeaways from you? I mean,
maybe one last word that I would like to add to that. When I was an artist, I wouldn't focus from the very beginning when I don't have a huge following on one-on-one, because the first thing I would do as an artist would be to grow my following, to grow, to get recognized in the community and so on. And I think after you have a community, it's so much easier to sell expensive artwork. But if you begin with a very small following to sell expensive artworks, that's quite hard because people need to trust you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that the difficulty of selling art and creating successful NFT projects is not it's not the artwork, it's not the project, but it's really the following, the community, and the social validation. And that is something that there are no shortcuts around. You can't pay an influencer to make people believe you. That just really takes an understanding of identity, how to collect a community, and just hard work.
Is it easier to start your career as a normal artist and then go into NFT, or is it just you can start as an NFT artist without knowledge about traditional art scene, galleries, and how that works? Because I mean, you will agree it's not so easy to go as an artist in a gallery because they have also some rules and you must apply and wait and how to get attraction. I mean, also how important is offline at that in this NFT world? So is there any enabler offline for NFT art collectors at the moment or upcoming?
I think that it's difficult because if you are just a regular artist, the majority of the people who do support you probably don't know how to buy NFTs. They probably don't have wallets and they probably don't have cryptocurrency. Because everyone here is a Web3 native, but if you talk to some random person on the street who loves art, they're not going to have a wallet and they're not going to have crypto. So I think that it's easier to be a Web3 artist if your audience is already Web3 natives, but if not, you'll need to look for ways to be able to sell your art, whether as NFTs or otherwise, through regular methods like credit card purchasing and social login.
I mean, it's hard to give general answers on this because it really depends of the individual artist at the end. And if the traditional artist has already good context to galleries and so on, so why not combining those worlds? If you're completely new, yeah, why not starting just with NFTs? So I think it really depends.
I think this Ryan Carson approach of giving out POAPs for Twitter Spaces is really something that should be done more often to create strong communities and to bind them, like Proof Collective also. I like strong binding to the community is the key. And there are a lot of communities right now that are doing a good job, but that's not enough. I think we reached a point in this bear market where people flip the dollar coin more often, where to put their money, because it's all going up and going down again. Even though this Sanctum Mint was fascinating for me because they really had a worked out roadmap, and like they had partners like Tiffany and Yves Saint Laurent. It looked like they put in a lot of money into the project from the start, but the mint didn't sell out at all. I think they minted like 93 pieces of 1,000, and yeah,
It's not easy to answer. I mean, that's the scene. I mean, it's so much, as we said.
more time to build a community, just not this.
The community is
things.
king. I think everyone agrees here. Malte, how important are offline events or gallery events, or the knowledge about the traditional art scene as an NFT artist? Because I asked before, what's your take?
So I think like the normal sort of like traditional art world and the NFT art world, like they have like basically zero overlap. Like at the very margin, there's a minimal overlap, but otherwise it's two completely different markets, different distribution mechanisms, different promotion mechanisms. I think the NFT sort of space has still much lower barriers for artists than the traditional art market, especially sort of on the economic side. Getting into a decent gallery is extremely hard. Roasters are pretty limited. A standard gallery has like 20 to 30 artists on their roster, and then many like cross-references. So the pool of sort of like established artists is just incredibly small, and it's very hard to get in. In terms of like, if you have that decision really at the outset, then I think the NFT market is more inclusive. There are the benefits, I think, to the normal art world, but that would be sort of like my general overview. I think in terms of like real life events, for us, they're incredibly important. We work mostly with artists who have a strong background in tech. So most of them didn't have a strong background with exhibitions, so they really enjoy working with us, because we can facilitate the entire tech side, but we can also put on amazing shows, which is quite interesting for them. And the other thing is that minting NFTs is usually somewhat a solitary and uneventful thing, because you just sit in front of your computer and you click a button and you spend the money, and then you wait for the metadata to refresh. And part of the moments was to take this idea of minting and to put it out of this like sort of boring context into the real world, create an experience around it, and make it special. We've found a lot of traction for that. Artists like the idea, collectors like the idea, and Bright Moments really emerged off the heels of the pandemic, and you can see people want to travel, people want to connect, people want to meet. It's the same reason why people come to a conference, is that you want to network, you want to get to know other people. As has been said already on the panel, we are still in a phase where it's very easy to meet artists. That's something we facilitate as well. And there is like very strong demand for meeting IRL, and I think it does sort of foster a stronger community, stronger bonds.
Okay, thanks a lot. And as you said, everyone is invited also to visit the Bright Moments gallery here in December, and we'll find infos online. And our gallery will also open later this day and tomorrow the whole day. We made a great experience for generative art, the next floor up. So we let you know when it's all done, and there's a lot of preparation to get this run very smoothly. And if you want to take the chance to talk to Nicolas afterwards, or to a very successful collector and a very successful entrepreneur, feel free. And the panel is closed for the moment, and we're going to the next topic now, and give the panelists a warm applause and enjoy the further day.